Okay, some examples now of peer review feedback that was given on this scenarios with our t-tests that we did last week. This student here gives some pretty good feedback. It talks about here the a description of what the confidence interval is. It's the range of values within which the difference between the mean of the two populations may lie. You've got to always be a bit careful when explaining this. Remember, the true effect is fixed. That's the sort of underlying idea, is that there is an effect of a certain size that we're trying to estimate. Okay, and the confidence interval is that range that we expect will include the true value on 95% of occasions if we were to go out and repeat the test, the observation, or if someone else was to do it with a similar kind of setup, they would have a similar estimate, and the range that they got would include the true mean at 95% of occasions. Right, so get the expression there. Good points about this particular one is that they identify a lack of evidence. Says there's no mention of the confidence interval, explains what the confidence intervals are, and then gives an example of what to do. So it says for the second scenario, there's the confidence interval, and this corresponds to no significant difference. Right, that's good. Second student here, we have a case again where the student has identified a problem. Here that the student under review has failed to state the confidence levels they're using and why. Okay, they should use a 99% level. Okay, and gives an explanation, because it's really important to be confident of the effects of a drug before putting it on the market, for example. And again, gives another example, an explanation for the effect size. Okay, so the compendium under review has obviously been weak in this respect, and instead of just sort of saying, "Oh, you got this wrong," gives the expression that needs to be used to calculate the effect size, and then goes on to comment on the recommended guidance from, for example, Ferguson's paper. Yeah, so they're good. Oops. It's student Y. Okay, again, this is one that's showing a good insight here. The first point is to advise that interpretation should not be done directly on the t-value. Okay, now this is good advice. The t-value is the statistic that's calculated, and it is true that big t-values correspond to small p-values. Okay, but it's the confidence interval and the p-value criterions that you concentrate on, and this reflects probably that this student has done some additional reading. Lost my pointer. Oh, there it is. And then again, good example of feedback, giving some advice on the relationship between the confidence interval and the null value zero in this case, in the context of the one-sided paired t-tests. And further on, again, points out that there's been a misunderstanding throughout what the t-values show, that the effect size has been incorrectly calculated, and so on. But here you see this would be better if it was supported with an example or a solution, possibly using one of our blog tools that would support a little bit more these assertions about they've been calculated incorrectly. You should go on and say this is what the value you were looking for was. Okay, and this is a good example of very fulsome feedback that gives lots of supportive comments, very professional manner, descriptive and detailed throughout. Well done, he says. Further on, example here, correctly state the effect size, comments that this is a very positive thing to remark upon. And there's more positive feedback down here. Well done again, giving the reader about the different conditions, an excellent interpretation of significance and so on. That's very good. And the reviewer is also showing that they've got a very good understanding of the t-tests themselves, because they're able to say where the person has gone wrong on interpreting the one-sided tests. In fact, I'll find my pointer here. So the author's interpretation of confidence intervals is unclear, and then they give the quotation here of what's gone wrong. They should have stated, because they're using a one-tailed test, the placebo has a smaller effect than the drug, and they're only interested whether the upper interval is less than 0, okay? Because you're expecting the sign of the effect to be in a particular direction. And then this then supports the claim of statistical significance, namely that the p-value is less than 0.05, but it's the direction that we're interested in here. And another good example here is that this particular section here, it says that the person has correctly stated the effect size, okay, but shows how they could have gone on to explain that although it's below the effect size, what are the implications for this data set? How can we be sure that the differences are solely attributable to the independent variable? And suggest that it could have improved the communication by adding a little bit more information into the report. So this is showing how that although you have got it right to a certain extent, there are other things that you can do in this particular case to enhance the clarity and content of your report. So that's an example of very good feedback. Bye.